the Game Professors podcast, where the students have taken over and we profess our love and hate for all things video games. We'll get into the lecture lowdown, and we'll start with a fun story after I let you know that we will be talking about StarCraft. Maybe finally getting that shooter that they've always talked about. And maybe people aren't as down with the dinos in Code Violet as the developers had hoped they'd be. And are we sure the marathon art style is in it for the long run? And is Highguard leaving us high and dry? The final song plays for Anthem, a synopsis of the Steam survey numbers, and mentions of a Steam monopoly. And then if we have time, we'll get into Bowser finally leaving Nintendo, and a gaming legend passes away. We'll get in all that today after a fun little story. So, as we talk about all the time, AI causing RAM to be insanely expensive. Everyone's sick about hearing about it. We're gonna continue to hear about it because it is such a big deal. However, everyone should now be on board. It's undeniable that it is a problem and utterly expensive because thieves are breaking into office buildings and only stealing RAM. So, you know prices are way too high for something when it's valuable to just steal the RAM and not the entirety of the computer. So, specifically, a thief broke into a factory's design office and specifically harvested the high-end RAM modules from their workstations. So, instead of coming in and searching through any of the desk drawers or the offices, they literally came in, smashed the tempered glass side panels, and ripped out the RAM and pieced out. So my assumption is that the same kind of window cracking devices that they use on cars, they probably had that, just went in, popped those tempered glass panels, and just ripped out the RAM. Apparently, the workstations had 32 gigs of DDR5, 5600 CL46 Micron memory, and it was confirmed that the thieves ignored other valuable parts, including the rest of the computer. And the victim noted that they have liability insurance, but because of the current volatility of the RAM prices, they're arguing with their insurer over how much they should be compensated for the stolen RAM.
Yep,
so,
I can imagine.
This is wild to me that we live in a world where instead of stealing the whole computer, because it's easier to get rid of the RAM. You can move that much faster if you're pricing it aggressively, right? You can get that in and out. There's less things that are serialized and easier to track as well. So, like, because it's worth so much, it's worth it. And not to mention, like, as an office, you now also have to consider locking up your computers and not having the fun computers with the glass panels on it because it's too easy to steal RAM.
Jeez. Well, and like these were a design office. Like, there's no way they didn't have GPUs as well.
Yeah.
So they didn't even take
they're
the
probably
GPUs.
High-end computers. Like the whole computer's at least worth probably $3,000 or more minimum.
Right. Yeah.
And no, the thieves come in, steal only the RAM.
I mean, it's easy to pocket, right? Easy to run around with. So, like, I get it. And I mean, oh man. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, look, DDR5 5600, it's a higher latency. So let's say brand new, it's worth $375, right? Let's go with that current market trends. Well, the package of 32 gigs, right? So I don't know if each module is 32 gigs or if it was 32 gigs in each computer. Well, it says 4 sticks, right? So they're 8 gig modules a piece. So let's say the collection of 32 gigs is worth $350, $375, right? Used, you price it all the way down to $175. How many people are going to snap that up instantly?
Yeah.
So, and then it's not in your possession anymore, right?
Now you just have cash.
Yep. So that's where we're at. It's worth so much money that it is now being specifically targeted by thieves. Insanity. All right, speaking of RAM, follow up to our discussion about Asus unfortunately disappointing the entirety of the gaming community by confirming that they were not getting into the DRAM manufacturing business. There is some good news, some bad news, but some good news. Micron is building a $100 billion New York mega fabrication plant for RAM, which is awesome. It's going to be a $100 billion investment over a 20-year plus time frame. It's essentially going to have, once it's all said and done, 4 massive clean rooms totaling 2.4 million square feet, with the first phase operational by 2020 in the late 2020s, right? Like, that's good. That's good. I mean, full operation by 2041, but late 2020s is good.
2041. Oh my.
So supposedly it's supposed to be producing the high bandwidth memory, and it's getting funding support from the U.S. federal government through the CHIPS Act. A lot of job creation, that's all well and good, but late 2020s doesn't help any of us for the next few years still. So, unfortunately, some good news, but better than nothing. Just still doesn't help us in any sort of short term.
Yeah, somewhere between 2 and 3 years, it might slowly start recovering. Who knows? The AI bubble could pop by that time, but...
I mean, 100% true. That could happen. That's the only reason that's stopping me from, like, panic buying 64 gigs.
Oh, yeah. Same.
It's like, some games are requiring 32 gigs, but the hope is by the time I want to comfortably game at 4K on 64 gigs, that hopefully prices will at least be down to where they currently are instead of me having to spend my money now, or lower. The lower would be good. But
lower would be good.
Alrighty. Well, some news for everybody back in the day that was super excited for StarCraft Ghost. Back in the day, I was on board for StarCraft Ghost. I wanted, and for those of you who don't know, StarCraft Ghost was the eventually canceled project, infamously so, that was supposed to be a StarCraft shooter, which I was absolutely on board for. I remember seeing like the videos and stuff of those like either leaked or early announcements. It's been a while now. Of codenamed Ares. But I wanted that so bad, and then when it was canceled, I was bummed. Well, it is looking like it's happening. Maybe somewhat.
Sure.
Oh.
Yeah. Absolutely. Look, I'll believe it when it releases or at least gets announced at a BlizzCon. Right?
I think everything nowadays is gameplay, right? Like if you're showing me gameplay, I at least know it's way down the line.
Yeah, but the problem is that StarCraft Ghost had gameplay.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
You're not wrong, but I think development is more expensive nowadays. So if you're at that gameplay phase, which games still get canceled after... I mean, games get canceled after they've released recently. So it can be canceled at any point in time. But I do think it's way more likely that something comes out if you're seeing somewhat polished gameplay, rather than like tailored E3 showcase BS.
Yeah. Definitely not wrong. Now, this rumor comes from a very popular journalist, specifically very popular in the Blizzard realm, of Jason Schreier. If you don't know who Jason Schreier is, he literally wrote a whole book about Blizzard, which is insane.
That's some dedication.
But pretty much everything he has ever reported on has been accurate in one way or another. So I believe that he probably has good information in this regard, but what I don't believe, and which Jason mentions in his report, that he does not see it actually releasing because Blizzard doesn't have a good track record with not only just shooters, but also StarCraft. So combine the two things they have the least success with, and all of a sudden we're going to get a good game? Or even a release game? You might get a game. I doubt it. I'd be surprised if we get a game, to be honest with you. I'm down for it because I've always enjoyed the StarCraft universe, and the one thing I've disliked about it is the fact that it was a freaking RTS, but here we are.
Yeah. I mentioned Codenamed Ares earlier, but like this would be the third attempt, right?
Is it the third?
Yeah, because you had StarCraft Ghost, and then in 2019, you had Project Ares, which was canceled, which was like the mentionings were like a Battlefield-style game set in the StarCraft universe, which was scrapped, and then resources shifted to Overwatch 2, which turned out awesome, and
sure,
and Diablo 4, which good now, right?
I would say it was better in its first week.
Okay, I mean, hey, that's more your world than mine.
And then they nerfed the crap out of every really good build, and everyone was like, but why?
Yeah.
Instead of buffing the rest of the builds, they just nerfed the good builds into oblivion.
I mean, fair. Well, point being is resources maybe not well used.
I mean, are resources used at Blizzard well ever? Honestly,
you're super excited about that upcoming thing right here.
Man, the Midnight pre-patch, or Midnight as a whole, yes. The pre-patch, which is going to be 2 months of pre-patch, no. So, for a little bit of context, I know I mentioned this prior to starting to record. Normally, pre-patches are 2 weeks long. So they increased it by 200%. And I'm like, but why?
I feel like this is a moment where I need the meme where it's like, pray that I don't increase it further.
I mean, they can't. It's
I mean, they could if they wanted. Could they go
they
3 months or whatever?
Midnight. Yeah, they could delay Midnight, I guess. But like once you've gotten to the point of releasing, or at least releasing pre-patch, you're kind of hard stuck.
Sure.
Right? Because at that point, the overall game has been updated to the latest version, and you've already made the changes to all of the classes and everything. So drawing out pre-patch is going to be a terrible thing.
You're not wrong.
Honestly, I think just 2 months in general is going to be terrible.
Yeah, it doesn't sound great. But when it does happen, I know you will let us know. Just a little more background about the potential shooter that may or may not come to fruition. Apparently, Dan Hay of Far Cry fame is the executive producer. So when he was at Ubisoft, he specifically headed up basically the golden era of Far Cry, even though Far Cry 2 has a special place in my heart, but specifically Far Cry 3, 4, 5, and 6, which, although they got stale, those titles have their own unique flavors and, for the most part in general, are liked titles and well-reviewed titles. Specifically, Far Cry 3 was definitely very big. And then I think it was Far Cry 6 with the US setting and the kind of religious cult that you were fighting was at least sufficient in its gameplay with a more unique story that people liked. So it's got somebody that at least knows how to make a shooter game. I would be concerned about making Far Cry with a StarCraft skin, to be honest with you, because if it plays like those Far Cry games, I'm definitely sick of those. I don't need a big giant open map where it's go do the icons on the map. Like, I need something different, something with a little bit more substance. So
That's fair. I mean, I think my biggest concern, and I need a little bit more information on why this was canceled, but so Dan Hay initially joined Blizzard to lead the survival game project codenamed Odyssey, which I was an extreme fan for. I was very excited, very hopeful, because everything that Blizzard has ever taken, they've generally made better, right?
Yeah.
Like World of Warcraft is one of the number one examples of that. Overwatch, the original, before they made a bunch of changes, was a good example of that as well.
I mean, even Warcraft before it was an MMO was a great RTS.
Yes, it absolutely was. And the one thing I think they've really failed on was Heroes of the Storm. I think that was their biggest failure in terms of actually improving on the genre.
I was going to say, that one at least seems serviceable.
It is serviceable.
It was already a crowded market, so serviceable kind of doesn't cut it.
Yeah, well, and it's kind of one of those things where unless you get enough people to onboard your game, right? Especially when you're trying to compete against League of Legends, you know, like that's hard. That's very difficult, which people have struggled to compete against World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy XIV for the longest time. Yeah. And the only reason that both of those MMOs stand at the peak is because they do so many things differently from each other. And the art style is wildly different. One is much more anime focused, and the other one is much more Blizzard.
You're not wrong.
But I wonder if the reason why Odyssey was canceled had anything to do with Ares in the first place.
I mean, could have been. I would argue it was probably more of the Microsoft acquisition this was probably more of a casualty for.
I could see that.
As Microsoft was looking to cut a lot of stuff, and even though the survival game genre does well on Steam, I could easily see people in suits going, "That's not the moneymaker," and cutting it.
I mean, I guess.
Look, there's plenty of amazing survival games that have made bank on Steam. But are those the things that bring in the high amount of viewers? There's some survival games that get dedicated viewers, but you're not seeing them, you know, upon release and necessarily, you know, topping the charts on a consistent basis.
Valheim took off. Project Zomboid occasionally gets spiky.
But to the same degree that any general shooter does for the first couple of weeks that they're out.
Sure, but I mean...
But again, you're thinking from a gamer perspective. This is why I'm saying fair. From the executive perspective, that's just looking at the surface level.
The executives need to get a new perspective is the frickin' reality.
I don't disagree with you. I'm with you. But that's why I think this was probably a casualty from them.
Minecraft is a perfect example. It has been around forever. It's not terribly survival focused. There is some survival aspects in there, but they're very few.
Yeah, but you know how that's easily relatable for older executives? Hey, you know how kids like Lego?
Fair.
This is virtual Lego. They can build their own houses. Oh, I see why it's popular. Like, I doubt that the survival aspect even registers to those people.
That's fair. That's definitely fair, but I don't know. I think a lot of people were really looking forward to Blizzard's survival game.
Yeah. And I think it could have done amazingly. Especially if done correctly in a unique universe. I think there was plenty of I think it was poised to do well if it was a good game. But that's not what executives do, right? They don't look at it and go, "Can this be a good game?" They go, "Hey, will this top the charts and get us a buttload of money?"
True.
So,
I don't know.
But sorry, go on.
I'm kind of sick of purchasing games like as they release at this point.
Yeah.
Like unless a game has staying power, I'm just not interested anymore.
Friends or staying power.
Yep.
Those are about my only two main reasons to buy a game upon release. Like if a bunch of people are getting into it on release and it's something that I'm at least halfway interested in, all right, let's hop in, have the fun time while everybody's having the fun time. Outside of that, is this a good game where I'm going to get my value? Does it have staying power? Oh, I can agree with
for
that.
Sure.
I could see a realm in which a StarCraft shooter could do well if they lean into its RTS roots. Like, I think having an interesting kind of meta, like, especially if they're going to do the open world. Like, I'm going to look at it from the Far Cry 3, Far Cry 6 perspective, right?
Yeah.
If they could have an interesting overworld meta where you have to take over the map, you know, like maybe a little bit of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood where you kind of have followers or units where if you take over a map, you can set them up and then you have to go elsewhere to try to take stuff and those positions can be attacked and you'd have to go defend them. Like, I could see an interesting kind of meta game leaning into a little bit more of the RTS roots, which could be interesting from a shooter perspective.
It definitely could be. I would
especially you got multiple enemy types built in here, right? Between the Zerg and the Protoss. So
yeah, for sure. I think the biggest problem is that with StarCraft as a shooter, the only real like shooter-oriented race is the Terran.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like
that's why the first game was
Terran.
following around Nova, right?
Right, exactly. Like, that made sense. StarCraft Ghost made sense. And everyone, I think, was honestly pretty excited for it. And then it just kind of fell through.
Oh, you know what could be really cool? Like stealth infiltration horror. Like lean in, like maybe I don't know how much about the Protoss, but if you lean into like the Zerg side of it, where you're like going through maybe corrupted Terran bases to try to like find something or escape with something, a la Gears of War style, where like, you know, stuff has taken over, so we've got to infiltrate, plant a bomb, or recover something. Yep. And so like you're going through seeing the grotesque things that the Zerg have done, the mutations. You know, that like I could see a cool stealth horror shooter. That would be fun.
Yeah, I mean that could be very enjoyable, I think.
I mean, there's options to have here. Do any of us have any faith that anything
no
or unique will come out? I mean, yeah,
not a chance.
Alrighty. Well, only time will tell. Maybe this will be the third canceled attempt at a shooter. Maybe it'll be something cool. Or honestly, worst out of all the options, it comes out and it's just utterly mediocre, which would be a bummer.
It would be. I think it would be almost better if it bombed.
Yeah, at least we all get to laugh.
True.
Along the way.
Yeah.
Speaking of mediocre, the Division had some announcements recently. Now, this does hurt me kind of deeply that this series never did well, because yes, I understand it was a fake tailored E3 reveal, but oh man, I was so excited for the first Division. The New York setting, the story about the apocalypse being like a hidden sleeper cell agent there to help in catastrophe. Like, it had an awesome set. The snow-covered New York, it was poised to be awesome. Awesome story, awesome setting, awesome premise. And then it just... I mean, the Dark Zone looked like it was going to be... the Dark Zone was actually ahead of its time for what the concept was of the extraction PvPvE shooter type of stuff. And it ended up being mediocre. And one of the things that I hated was, instead of designing unique ways to deal with bosses, they just went the route of give everything a buttload of health, and then I have to chip away at it. Which, when you have this game that is supposed to be this more gritty, realistic thing where enemies now have health bars, you just take me right out of it.
Yep.
Which,
I mean, that was our biggest complaint when we were playing.
Yeah. I mean, the one boss that was interesting was the giant helicopter where you had to sneak around and get the anti-air turrets up and running. Like, why was there not more of that type of stuff?
Yep.
Oh, man. So, anyways, supposedly there's a leaked definitive edition coming out for the original game. Yay, whoop-de-doo. I'm twiddling my fingers. Supposedly sometime in March. As we were just talking about something that the game should have been in the first place, apparently there is an official realism mode coming out for The Division 2, which was revealed during FPS Day in Japan, of all places, at the 10th anniversary. Gameplay overhaul, where it changes the looter-shooter mechanics to more of a hardcore, where significantly reduced TTK, like 1-kill headshots, no health regeneration, scarcity of ammunition. Like, this is what the game should have been from day one. This is what it should have been. And Heru, I mean, this sounds great. Can I go play this? Oh yeah, sure. Only if you own the expansion pack Warlords of New York.
What?
Yeah. So it's not even if you own the base game. You have to own the expansion Warlords of New York. Which is BS.
Hey, look, we know that you're all really interested in this, so we're going to put it behind not one, but 2 paywalls.
Dude, this is insane for me. Like, you could bring people back with this, and if there's some technical reason that you require this expansion pack, maybe a large chunk of it is based off of things that were introduced, then make it free. It is old enough, like, and we'll get into it, but supposedly this is to bring back attention for a potential Division 3. Make it free so that people can get back into the game. This is just more Ubisoft BS, dude.
So, like, if the goal of this, the actual true goal of the developers of the company, is to bring people back, to bring hype for the Division 3, if the Division 3 releases the same state that 1 and 2 did, it's pointless.
True.
It's going to take 10 minutes before someone realizes, bullet sponges are back. Never mind, I'm done.
Yeah, 100%. If I see bullet sponges in Division 3, I'm 100% out. I have no desire for any of that.
Yeah. And I just won't buy it until that has been distinguished.
No. I mean, to your point, though, kind of what you're alluding at here, there's no official date for the Division 3, just executive producers basically assuaging fears and saying it's still in full production at Massive, which, great. People were talking literally in this January, the New Game Plus showcase, they were talking about it shaping up to be a monster. I mean, I guess the hope could be maybe this is a proof of concept. Maybe this is part of their design testing because the team can't agree, so they're trying to figure out if it's something they can do. This is what the game needs to be for me to be interested.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to trust Ubisoft at all at this point.
Oh, they have zero trust.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, the game would have to have a similar Battlefield style, Battlefield 6, and I know people have dropped off, but the game came out and there was a lot to love there, especially since 2042. They would need to have a Battlefield 6 style open beta where everybody can hop in and play it for me to even consider getting it outside of waiting a few months after it fully releases.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
All right. Well, with that over, we're done with the small stories. Let's get into some lab work. All right, some lab work where we analyze some of the recent releases or even maybe some upcoming ones. Heru, have you heard of Code Violet?
No.
Okay. So, I actually had some of this on our topic list to add at some point, and I'm glad that it came out and bombed, because it now makes it interesting to talk about it as a whole. So, the controversy that I had before the game came out is about kind of their view on mods. Now, to give you some backstory on the game, what is Code Violet? Code Violet is a PS5 only dinosaur horror shooter, and it's basically supposed to be kind of the spiritual successor for, God, what was it? Dino Crisis from back in the day. I have it in here somewhere. We'll come back across it. But it's supposed to be a spiritual successor. And the problem is that most gamers don't like hypocrisy. So, what happened is the developers basically came out and said that they're not doing a PC port because they feared vulgar, sexualized mods for the heroine of their game.
Okay.
Which, you know, you look at what happened to Stellar Blade. Okay. You look at what happened to Resident Evil, which had a character in a turtleneck sweater, and it didn't fucking matter. So, like, mods are gonna mods. Like, it's gonna happen no matter what you do. You can't control people, but I can at least understand the concern. Okay, I don't agree with it, but I can understand. Hey, I've created this story, this character. I feel connected to it. I don't want to see this happen. I don't agree with it, but I can see it. Until you realize that they put in lingerie and skimpy outfits into their own damn game.
Huh? Oh, so the reality is that they didn't want sexualized mods because they want to be able to sell microtransactions of their sexualized character.
That's what it really seems like. And we'll get into it, but I would say that and or the publicity.
Sure.
So, like,
but,
yeah.
dude, I do want to mention that it's Team Kill, right? That's the dev. All right.
Yeah.
They should listen to our last podcast because what they failed to realize is that the PS5 had all of its ROM keys leaked.
Yeah, that's true.
So those mods, they're gonna happen.
Yeah, even if you never came out on PC, they would absolutely be happening now at some point. And just to spite you because you've said it, someone would specifically do it just because you brought it up.
Oh, 100%.
Oh man, yeah. So like, I don't understand like the why they're like this is. I mean, we already talked about it. Yeah. So like, the 100% against pornographic mods, sexual content. They had the game's deluxe edition is what I was looking for. Featured lingerie and sexually suggestive cosmetics. Although after their statement, they later removed it. Shocker there. Because they didn't want to be caught in their own hypocrisy.
They already were.
Yeah, pretty much. And like a lot of the reviewers, when they were giving this game very poor reviews, they even talked about like quote unquote the horny camera work with the skimpy outfits that were still left in the game.
Oh, jeez.
So like, it's not even the outfits. Like, from the ground up, this was not designed to be some wholesome game. So
I mean, have they heard of Rule 34 of the internet?
I mean, you have to, right? Like, it's a famous thing that has existed from the end of time.
Yeah.
Well, the end of the spaghetti, all of the internet.
Yeah, the beginning of the internet. Like, Rule 34 has existed for a very long time.
I mean, come on. Cavemen were carving round circles with smaller round circles in them in their cave walls, right? As soon as art was a thing, you know, it was happening.
Lord. Round circles with smaller round circles. I can't even. I mean,
but yeah,
it's hypocritical. It's wildly hypocritical.
I mean, like, to come out and say, quote, they do not want anyone modding vulgar versions of the main character because they wanted to protect the actresses.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, you're protecting the voice actress?
Right. Was this was it fully mocapped?
I don't know off the top of my head, but from the way that it looks, I would say if they did a terrible job.
Fair, because like Death Stranding is kind of the example that I go to generally, because Death Stranding, the main character is literally the likeness of a real person.
Yeah, well, I mean, famously Quiet from Metal Gear Solid 5, right? The sniper.
Sure, I had no idea, but sure.
Oh, well, the reason I say famously or infamously is there's a lot of feet shots in that, and she came out and said that they scanned her feet in.
That's wild.
Well, it's Kojima, brother.
I mean, fair, I guess.
Dude, wait, hold on. Do you know like what was in the Metal Gear Solid games before he left Konami?
So
he constantly puts it's like there was a whole game mechanic in Metal Gear Solid 4 where the bosses, which were females in plug suits, you could pull out the camera, and one of the ways you could defeat the bosses is by basically having a photo shoot where they would do sexy poses.
Oh, geez.
And they were also in Metal Gear Solid fully scanned in too. So like that's still the same thing.
Wild. Absolutely insane.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I mean, okay. So I know I've said it before, but people need to stop with console exclusives. It's stupid at this point.
Yeah. Well, especially for this reason.
I mean, this is just a stupid reason. This is just a stupid company. I'm just going to go with that. I don't know who ultimately decided to make this decision, but the decision wasn't your biggest mistake. Your biggest mistake was trying to explain the decision.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you had just made... Yeah, if you had just made the decision, we would have just been like, all right, cool. Just another company doing a PS5 exclusive. Hooray.
Yep.
But now we're like, who? What?
We're just all laughing. Because, to your point, if they kept quiet, we're not talking about the game. For good or bad, right?
Sure.
We're not crapping on them for their stupid decision, but they're also not getting in the zeitgeist. So... on top of your theory of them trying to sell the sexy outfits, which I think is a good theory, the other half of that is it was probably done to generate attention, which was very successful until they actually released the game, and it came out and was terrible, getting 2s and 4s out of 10/100. 20s, 40s, 2 4s, 10, 100, take your pick. Basically 20 and 40%, right? So like all this hullabaloo that you've gone through, and you boldly, without blinking, release a terrible game. And this is consensus. There's no one out there being like, oh, well, it's just, people that don't agree with my ideology are giving it bad. No. This is the consensus. There isn't dissenting opinions here. It's basically bad. I mean, it's a third-person shooter, and yes, successor to Dino Crisis. Basically, they're all calling it clunky, tedious, derivative, dated map design, and a whole bunch of technical problems.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's just bad.
It's interesting, because with that, Team Kill Media did come out and say that their game is made for fans, not critics, and claimed that Code Violet was their biggest commercial success, claiming that it reached #1 in PS Store pre-orders. How accurate is that?
I mean, it probably hit #1 in PS Store refunds, too, I would imagine. So...
Oh, man.
I don't care if it hit #1 in pre-orders. Did they actually hold on to those sales? I would imagine they had to refund it. And you're
Probably.
making it for fans? Okay, I didn't know there were that many fans of terrible games. Like, I didn't know that was a thing either.
Fans of terrible games. What do you mean? There are tons of fans of Nintendo.
If you'd like to respond to that, please write in the comments and tell Heru what you think of that, and or send feedback to our email address, feedback@thegameprofessors.com. Oh man, you're just starting fires here. I'm picking the low-hanging fruit, and you're just lighting the whole tree on fire is what you're doing.
Look, all the fruit belongs to me. If I can't have it, no one can.
You say that's what I was gonna say. You're like, nobody can have the fruit, is what you're saying. Oh man. But yeah. Also, one of the reviewers pointed out that one of those skimpy outfits, because they wanted to respect the actresses, right? Was assless chaps. So lots of respect happening there.
Tons of respect there.
All right. Any more comments about Code Violet, a terrible game that we'll forget about unless we talk about terrible games in the future?
No.
Okay. So I wanted to jump into this. So some videos came out of Bungie's Marathon in action. Now, we've talked about it before, and I mentioned that it did have a very unique art style, albeit stolen. Well, at least some of it, as they settled in court. So not allegedly, they have settled in court, so there is some merit there. And I hated it. Like, I saw it in motion, and to me personally, obviously have to wait for the full release, but it just looks bad. It looks unpleasant to play. Did you go check out any of these videos?
I did not. I was about to while you were yapping.
So while you're looking that up, and I'll describe it for people, is if you've seen the artwork that is in the game, there's lots of those blues, lots of the greens, kind of very, very, not muted, but very silhouette-y on those colors, and a lot of them pop. The art director, Joseph Cross, explained that it was a deliberate choice, kind of a fresh brand of science fiction, end quote, inspired by Wipeout and Aeon Flux, which I do love Aeon Flux back in the day. Any sci-fi fans should definitely be checking that out. But it looks very plasticky. It lost a lot of the grit that was in the 2023 trailer. And it looks so simple, so bland, and at the same time with those high contrast neon matte colors, just looks, it's hard to like differentiate things that exist in the world, and it just is like, to me, it just looks offensive to my eyeballs.
I mean, so you say that, but I have a similar problem in like more realistic games like Tarkov. Where it's like impossible to see enemies at all.
Oh, 100%.
Right. Unless you have a 4K monitor and you're 3 inches from it. Then all of a sudden, you can see them like a hacker. It's insane. But like, I'm looking at this. What was that game that failed by Sony?
Concord?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, are you noticing that it does look a lot like that?
It has that very similar aesthetic / art style, absolutely.
Now, look, I want to be clear on my position on this. I have never enjoyed insane realism in terms of graphics in games. I've never really been a deep fan of it. I think my most favorite game that has realistic graphics would probably have to be Death Stranding. But even then, it's realistic graphics for like 5 total people, right? And then the rest of it is just landscape and monsters. So
I think if it serves the game, then I like it. It's got to serve the game or serve the story.
Right. And I think the reality is that they're probably trying to go for something along the lines of Overwatch, right? They're probably trying to go somewhere along those lines.
Yeah.
And the problem is that they tried, if I try and describe it as best as possible, they tried to slim everything down while still keeping that same overly saturated color scheme.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the failure, because Overwatch, Blizzard as a whole, has always had overly saturated colors.
Sure.
But they've also had incredibly blocky and very larger than life style creations.
Well, I would also argue, though, that even with a lot of that, and there is some of that in the character designs, the entirety of the maps are not made up of the high contrast neon colors.
Yeah.
With like that hard sci-fi kind of edge of coloring, that it just, to me, it makes it like, when I think about having to stare at my monitor to play this game for hours on end, it just makes me want to reach for the eye drops immediately. Like, as opposed to having a hard time to seeing people in Tarkov because it blends in or it's dark or whatever, like this one just makes it like I feel like I'm going to get a headache looking at this for hours on end.
Honestly, that's fair. It is very bright. That's for sure. Yeah. What's really weird about it is that it's very bright, right? They have like the green bridge here and absolutely insane amounts of colors all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything else is just gray.
Yep.
And I'm like,
yeah.
Did you forget to remove the gray boxes?
It's a good question. Like, again, this is a work in progress too, and
Sure.
He's not literally saying there's gray boxes, but like there could be some polishing and finishing that happens between now and when the game actually comes out, if it does. But like, I don't understand how this is supposed to attract people and pull people in. Like, yeah, it pops, but I don't think it pops for a good reason. Yeah, it's got hero shooters, but that kind of has already fallen off. You brought up Concord. Like, The gameplay looks like it somehow is both Apex Legends and PUBG at the same time, which I'm not sure is a good thing. Like,
yeah.
So, like, I like, is this going to have any reason to bring people in?
I mean, I don't see it. Unless the gameplay is absolutely freaking amazing, no one's going to touch this.
No. Like, even how the characters are depicted. Have you played the finals?
No, but I watched a lot of it.
Okay, so you've seen how the finals look. I loved the finals. I actually kind of want to go back and play it a little bit again. But like that kind of athleticism leisure style where it's the trainers, the workout outfits, all that kind of stuff is not really I don't really appreciate that. But as I just pointed out, games have already been doing that, including shooters. Yeah. So like, even how you're depicting the characters, like, none of this feels original other than your choice of high contrast colors.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. I don't know, man. It's one of those things where, like, you're Bungie, dude. Why are you making this big of a change? You're known for, well, number one, you're known for Halo.
Sure.
And then turn that around, you're now known for Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
And we
Which
won't
still
talk
has
about,
a lot of fans, but even
we won't
though
talk
they've
about the
lost
Bungie Foundation, but you know.
Yeah, well.
You do great work over there. That's awesome. Keep it up.
Mm-hmm.
But like this, it doesn't make sense. Like, Destiny was good. You should have iterated on that and improved the issues that people had with that.
Yep. And if you really wanted to make this extraction survival shooter multiplayer game, why not a version of it from Destiny?
Yeah, exactly.
Or set in the Destiny universe or anything that you could have done.
Now, granted, we've made the same exact argument of other games that have released versions of their games that are, battle royales or extraction shooters.
Look at the problem that Battlefield is having, right?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm not saying that would have been successful, and I might be eating my words when Marathon comes out.
Sure.
But I don't see this necessarily doing well, so we'll see if I eat my words.
Yeah, FYI, it's a wildly different jump, honestly.
100%. I did have a thought. You know how we talked about that they're kind of, doing things that everybody else has done?
Yeah.
I just like to remind people that they settled 2 separate lawsuits about plagiarism. Anyways, maybe they struggle at having original new ideas. And if you want to hit up me, leave a comment / email feedback at thegameprofessors.com. Anyways, moving on to one more last discussion in lab work. I put this in here even though it's not out yet. Heru, have you heard of Highguard?
I have not.
I didn't expect you to, except at the Video Game Awards, they paid $1 million for a 3-minute trailer. And it was in the quote-unquote one more thing slot that is supposed to be like the big thing. Oh, what's happened? One more thing. What's the reveal? Is this not something we heard about? Oh, gosh, it's the game we've all been waiting for, right?
Uh-huh.
And everyone was like, what the hell is this game? When they showed it. So I will say the game looked interesting. There's magic and guns. Like at one point you're riding a horse and shooting something and throwing out a spell. Like I could see a realm where this would be interesting. It's supposedly a PvP raid shooter. With you're gonna have wardens, which are arcane gunslingers. Teams compete for control of artifacts. There's gonna be wall running with mythical creatures on the map, and so there's a lot here that I can see being cool. The problem is that this game developed by Wildlight Entertainment is supposed to come out this month on January 26, 2026. Now, you haven't heard of it. That's okay. It may not necessarily be in your world or your realm, although the fantasy thing is kind of your thing. They put out this $1 million trailer in a pretty prominent spot, and then nothing.
Jesus.
There has been
that's all
0 follow-ups.
Now, okay. Devil's advocate.
Okay.
It is possible to release a game with 0 pre-marketing, and it can do well. Apex Legends is a perfect example.
Wait, Apex Legends is your example?
Yeah.
Not the game that won all of the Game of Year awards recently?
I mean, sure. You can go with that too. But so the problem is that no. So here's the problem. Claire Obscure absolutely can do that because it is a single player story driven game. It has the
fair point.
It has the time to progress and become popular through word of mouth.
Okay, now I would counter that Apex Legends is technically a multiplayer sequel to Titanfall.
Yes, that is true, and they did have studio fame, but it had absolutely 0 marketing before it released.
True, but it was connected to a, at that time, prominent IP.
Yes, I will agree. But how they did actually market it was they paid multiple streamers $1 million to play it for a week. Sure. And I'm talking $1 million each.
You're not wrong. I think a really good example to support you, though, would be like PUBG.
Sure.
Like, yes, an old example
so old,
at this
though.
point. You're right. But it is the example that, like, to this day still has hundreds of thousands of users. And like came out of nowhere. People loved it. So yes, you can shadow drop a multiplayer game, but I mean, man, when you're dropping $1 million on a 3-minute marketing spot, I feel like your goal would be to capitalize on that hype and trickle out some stuff, assuming that your game is actually coming out in 12 days.
True.
Like, we're a week and a half away from when this game is supposedly coming out, and 0 follow-ups. Now, to be clear here, I do prefer the short hype train run-up time and advertisements. I absolutely hate the we're 3 to 4 years out and in the conceptual phase and we're announcing a game. Like, I absolutely hate that. It's just obnoxious. So, like, short lead up to the game releases with advertising is fine by me, but this just seems like an anomaly to me.
That 3-minute trailer, by the way, is also on their Steam page. And now, to be clear, the reason that I didn't see it, wait. I just saw that correctly. Okay, so the reason that I mention it is because I didn't see the Game Awards at all. I didn't watch any of it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Largely because I was raiding in the middle of it, and I actually had to yell at people to stop watching the Game Awards and focus on the fucking raid. So I was a little pissed about it, and then all of a sudden the Game Awards had a wild sour taste in my mouth.
I'd be fair.
So I was just frustrated, and ultimately, the Game Awards for me is just kind of whatever, right?
Sure. It's just like something that's in the industry, not something that I think you or I necessarily go, oh, we have to sit down and watch this. This is going to be amazing. It's like, okay, cool.
So I find it
cool awards.
I find it hilarious that I mention Apex Legends because in the About Games section of their Steam profile, it literally says, from the creators of Apex Legends and Titanfall.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just sitting here like, this is one of these things is not like the other.
You're 100% right.
I don't know. It could be interesting.
As much as I said, I think there's something that could be interesting here. Now that you've seen that, I would like to point out that it does seem like a very, very tailored, quote-unquote, gameplay trailer, a la we just mentioned The Division, like, not real gameplay trailer. Like, if you look at the way that the characters move on screen, it looks like someone is doing that deliberate movement because they know they're being recorded for a trailer.
Yeah. I mean, it's on rails, right?
Yeah. 100%.
Like, the whole trailer is on rails.
Yeah, it definitely has that feel.
It kind of looks meh.
It does look meh. Oh, 100% it looks meh. Like, there's nothing there.
Actually look good.
Comparatively.
Compared to Marathon. but at the exact same time, I don't know, adding mounts plus guns has never really been a good idea.
No.
And then all of a sudden there's a tank, like,
I mean, but what's the difference between a mount and a motorcycle?
A mount has a mind of its own, a motorcycle doesn't.
Yeah, but functionally they are serving the same purpose in gameplay.
They are, yeah. I get it. And, I mean, we also talked about frickin' hero shooters. Like, come on.
Yeah. Look, I knew we were going to get to this point, so I tried to say the positive things up front.
Yeah.
To be like, there's something that could be cool here. It does not. This is why I kind of have been saying the entire time is this looks like it's not coming out. It's kind of what I've been saying, like alluding to on the 26th. Like this the signs here all point to this game either not being in a functional state to be released, to it just being too much of a mishmash and trying to do too much and just failing on launch.
You know what this feels like to me?
What's that?
This feels like Overwatch combined with Valorant combined with oh god, what was it? Spell something or other.
Kingdom Come Deliverance?
It was I said spell something or other, sir. It was a battle royale that was focused on spell casting.
Was it Avowed? That wasn't a battle royale,
No,
but
it wasn't a battle royale. I don't know if it's even on Steam. That's the thing.
There was the shooter with the magic that wasn't it like an Xbox title? Well, there was. Wasn't there a title that released recently?
Maybe.
That was like a shooter game with magic. But I think the point here is that it definitely looks like it's going to be DOA.
Yeah, I mean it's doing so many things at once. Right? It absolutely is. And I find that super weird. I can't find that game. I'm very sad about it, but I can't find that game because it always
You're gonna think of
like
it after we stop recording.
I probably am, yeah.
Yeah. Immortals of Avum,
No,
which was an
definitely wasn't
Xbox
that.
game, August of 2023, which was basically called Call of Duty with magic.
Fair enough. I don't know, like
There's Witchfire. Is that what you're talking about?
no.
Okay.
Like I said, it's a battle royale in particular, and I'm sure somebody in the time that we've been yapping about this for the longest time has already figured out the name. Yeah, put it in the comments, please, because it's gonna drive me insane. But yeah, it was a battle royale. It was entirely spell focused. So this looks like it's Overwatch, Valorant, and that all combined into one. But I also don't think it's a battle royale.
I don't know. It kind of looks like it's going to be.
What is a PvP raid shooter? What is that?
That to me would be like technically Tarkov would qualify for that.
That's an extraction shooter though.
Yes, but I feel like extraction shooters live in that PvP raid environment.
So you're saying that it's ultimate. It's not really like a free for all. Because it's clear they have a team.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, I don't know what it could be. It could literally be as it sounds, where everybody's doing a raid. However, you can fight the other teams that are also doing the raid. Like, it could literally be that, for all I know.
That would be incredibly cringe. However, like, I'm not saying it'll be bad, right? I'm not. Because there's a chance it could be good. But at the end of the day, I'm sitting here, I'm staring at this game, and I'm like, it looks like an Overwatch, Valorant-ish type game. And I don't think that it is.
So what I'm seeing on here is like a subgenre of multiplayer games where the gameplay loop is players attacking and raiding bases or territories of other players.
Okay.
So
whatever, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, interesting concept, but like, I feel like you're doing too much in this game.
Yep, definitely seems like that.
Now, granted, it will be free, so people will try it.
True. Well, if it does come out and it's good or bad, or it doesn't come out, we'll still tell you.
It's true.
2 weeks from now. Because that'll be the podcast after that date. Yeah, because it'll come out on Saturday. So the 29th is when you'll be able to hear us talk about it. Alrighty. Well, with that, let's get into shop class. Alrighty. The tech tools that we are talking about today specifically we're looking at Anthem wailing in its death throes as it has been officially shut down. Now, does this surprise you?
No. Honestly, what surprises me the most is that it wasn't taken down last year.
Or the year before.
Or the year before. And honestly, I'm amazed it wasn't just taken down in the first 2 weeks it launched.
I was going to say, it is kind of shocking that this didn't go kind of the Concord route.
Yeah.
Where, well, I mean, it probably would have been longer than Concord, but like a month or two after the game came out and there's barely anyone playing it, and them just going, yeah, we're pulling the ripcord here. We're doing a tax write-off. Because they dropped money to make this game, and it did not turn out well to make anything.
Not at all. And on top of that, I think there was an absolute ass ton of hype around Anthem.
Dude, it is one of the few times that a demo has stopped me from buying a game. Because
Really?
usually when demos come out, they're interesting enough where it either doesn't change your opinion or it improves your opinion. Right? Actually, it wasn't even the demo. I actually got into a closed technical test. I actually remember this now because I had cascading angular watermarks of my gamer tag across the screen when I tried this game. Oh man, I remember this now. I actually got invited to play this game early. And, oh man, yeah, because at that time I had played so much of the Mass Effect demos back in the day before this came out. Yeah, so anyways, I got invited to that and played it, and it was boring, and the controls were terrible. Like,
yes.
Just trying to frickin' fly in the jetpack felt awful. And it was so clunky, and oh man, and I told my friend, the one that moved out of state, Heru, that like, don't get this game, and he still bought it and barely played it. Like, it was, dude, man, yeah, I'm thankfully I never purchased it because of that, and you could see the writing on the wall, and I was actually kind of shocked that it didn't get delayed more, because it was just like, yeah, it was functional in that state, but it wasn't good. Anyways, came out February 22nd of 2019. So it basically lasted for 7 years and was taken offline on January 12th.
I'm honestly, I'll be real. I saw that it was so crap when it launched, or I think it was still before it launched. People were like, "No, this is absolutely terrible," and I don't even remember when it released. Like, obviously, it's here. I'm staring at it, but like,
before COVID,
I don't remember. Wow.
Isn't it kind of shocking that 7 years is before COVID now?
I mean, I feel like time accelerated between 2020 and 2024.
Well, we all just stopped existing basically for those 3 to 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah, time. It really did feel like time accelerated. In fact, now that I think about it, COVID is what got me back into World of Warcraft. I blame COVID for making me resub to WoW.
Oh man. So wait, you're telling me COVID was a conspiracy by Blizzard to get people back into WoW? Have we finally figured out who was behind COVID?
There is a higher chance that it was a conspiracy by NetEase.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. So NetEase is the company that runs World of Warcraft in China.
Oh, I see. That makes more sense then. Well, it takes two to tango, right? So maybe they conspired together.
It do take two to tango.
Anyways, I'm not bringing up Anthem just because it was shut down, because I don't give a crap about Anthem. I am bringing up Anthem specifically because of Mark Darrah, who was the former BioWare executive producer, revealed that Anthem actually had functional code for locally hosted servers in its development environment a few months before launch.
Jeez.
Now, he's unsure if that code still works, but does say it exists in the old archives and could theoretically be salvaged and recovered, and would allow the game. It would allow people to run the game on their own, essentially, and
Right.
have a small community for people that did like it to do their own stuff with it. I mean, this is the type of world where people could build mods and do stuff to it, especially if EA doesn't care anymore, by being able to do this type of stuff. Originally, they had that code because it was intended to reduce the high cost of maintaining dedicated servers by letting players run servers, which very progressive of them that it even existed at that point, especially at that time, especially for that version of EA. It makes sense that they cut it, not because it makes sense that they cut it, but it makes sense because that's what EA would totally do, which is unfortunate. However, he does admit that the possibility of EA approving any sort of project to implement that is basically nil, which is a huge bummer. And the reason that I am bringing this up is because stop killing games is a thing.
True.
And that whole mention of that code existing, to me, adds more ammunition to their fight. Now, whether or not you're on the side of stop killing games or not specifically, I do fall somewhere in the realm of if a company is going to shut down their multiplayer game, then they should relinquish tools and control over that project to the wider world so that people can still enjoy the product that they purchased. Now, I'm not saying they give up copyright rights over that, but there should be a realm in which they can let people do what they want without giving up control over the IP. Now, this gets a little messy because you have to you have to show courts, at least in the US, that when you are aware of copyright infringement, that you are enforcing litigation against people messing with it. So
Sure.
that is a thing that happens. However, I feel like everyone could come together to kind of figure out a solution here. But I do think this adds ammunition to that argument of, hey, it existed. There is no reason why they could release those tools to the public for people to fix it themselves. So they are forcing people to have their product that they purchased, although technically the lawyers would argue it's a license and not be able to play it.
I mean, yeah, sure, the lawyers can technically say that it's a license all they frickin' want, but the reality of the situation is that can you legally sell a license for an indeterminate amount of time? Can that be in your license agreement?
Technically, yes, as long as the agreement says that the company retains the ability to end services whenever they so do desire or wish, as long as they give notice. Which EA gave notice that they were going to shut down the game. So if that was what the lawyer speak says, then it's
Right.
probably why.
I mean, it's difficult because SKG is in a weird spot, in my opinion. Anthem was never a very popular game.
No.
The Crew was a very popular game.
True.
In as much as any online racing game can be.
Yeah.
Right. And their argument was that, they're closing down the Crew and everyone can just move over to the Crew too, but it was a vastly different game.
Yeah.
Now, I would implore a lot of people to think about what would happen if League of Legends went down permanently. I would implore them to ask themselves what would happen if Final Fantasy XIV or World of Warcraft went down permanently.
I mean, any games, right? Take a look at even some of the shooters. Like, what if
Sure.
Valve just decided they're done with Counter-Strike?
Oh, man. First off, it would be the worst financial decision they've ever made.
How about a little bit more of a realistic thing? Let's say Valve was done with Team Fortress.
Okay, sure.
Right? And I doubt Valve would ever necessarily be done with it enough to take all the servers offline. And even if they did, I think they would probably let people do stuff on their own, just Valve being Valve. But let's say they went, we're taking it all offline and no one has the ability to play it anymore. Like,
yeah, I mean, I hate the licensing argument. I always hate that. It's one thing for a free-to-play game.
Yeah, but you never bought anything. But
exactly,
you're buying stuff in the game, but
sure, but that's a microtransaction, right?
True.
I see those in a slightly different realm, whereas, like, I have to purchase every single expansion of World of Warcraft as it comes out. I have to pay $15 a month to play it, and I don't really do any microtransactions in that game. So, I've put a lot of time into it. I have a lot of crap that I'm, somewhat interested in keeping around, and it's one of those things where I'm like, that's a lot of money gone, and now I have nothing to show for it. Right? And I understand, like, we're gamers, right? We're not necessarily playing video games for something to show for it, but for a lot of MMO gamers in particular, it's a progression-based system. The things that we gather along the way are actually important to us. There are people who have put hundreds, if not thousands of hours into mount farming.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like, I kind of agree with SKG in that they should probably be legally required to release some kind of final patch to allow for server hosting, right?
Yep. Allow the game to allow players to make sure the game is in a functional state on their own.
Yes. Agreed. Now, I think that you could do this without running into the copyright problems. You could just license it. Right?
Yeah.
So
or the tacit agreement, like, anyone playing this game on their own understands that this piece of software is no longer managed on a daily basis by EA. Any problems you encounter, you are doing at your own risk. Any malicious actors that have accessed the game are not our responsibility, yada, yada, yada. Right. So
the real problem, and the reason I think a lot of companies don't do this, and I find it hilarious, this is the first time we're talking about SKG.
Technically,
the real problem,
time. I think we talked about it once.
Yeah, fair. The real problem that I think a lot of these companies have is that they would have to release the full source code, right? For a lot of these games.
They absolutely would.
And the problem with that is that once you've released the source code, you've lost control.
Genie's out of the bottle.
Yep. Now, at the same time, what if somebody takes that source code, starts modifying it, starts updating it, and all of a sudden they create a game that is actually worth playing and takes off more than Anthem did?
Well, I think that's where in the licensing, the company would have the rights to retain and hold on to that.
Yeah.
Because I think the agreement, as much as someone putting in a lot of labor, it sucks that they don't get the credit for it. I think the understanding would have to be, hey, this isn't your property. You can do whatever you want with it, but the company still owns this property.
Yeah,
I think
you can't
has to
market
be the
it
trade-off
as your
agreement.
own.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't market it as your own. You can't make profit off of it.
Yeah, you can't
That would be the
re-release it
agreement.
under a different name if it's using the same stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that would probably be the best way to go about it. Because there are cult followings of some of these smaller games that just fell apart.
Yeah. I mean, there's
and
plenty of old games where you go on to Steam and there's games from 2009 that are still getting a few thousand players on it. Like, that's a thing that still happens. And there are some dedicated people that can do some really cool stuff.
Oh, you mentioned it, so I'm just going to bring it up real quick. Somebody created the entirety of New York in a 1-to-1 scale in Minecraft.
That does not shock me.
It doesn't shock me either, but it was very impressive. Just because you mentioned people who are incredibly dedicated.
Oh, yeah. There are plenty of people that are dedicated. So, yeah, it would be cool to see, but I brought this up because, like, this being a unique scenario where the executive producer said, yeah, literally a few months before the game came out, we had the code for people to be able to play it on their own. And, yeah, I mean, I'm just quickly, he outlined a plan to turn the Anthem into a single-player RPG, but, like, he even himself talks about, like, a $10 million investment that would include AI companions and all kinds of other stuff. Like, EA is not putting $10 million into Anthem.
and I don't think that we should require companies to put in that amount of money to be able to make their multiplayer online game into a single player game. I think that's a terrible idea. Yeah. If they want to design it from the ground up, starting like that, the way that like Monster Hunter Rise and Monster Hunter in general did, right? Sure.
Actually, you know what? That sounds like a really cool idea for individual people to do.
You're not wrong, right? If you've released the source code, then at that point, somebody else can put that time in.
Yeah. I mean, dude.
And you don't have to.
Skyrim, for years, had people making entire companions with full voice lines modded into the game.
Yeah, and I mean, these companies need to realize, think about the amount of money they can make off of lawsuits.
Oh my gosh. What is with your takes today, dude? Like, why? What is
fire.
Dude, what is spicy? You're just rubbing habaneros into your eyeballs and your mouth hole so you could just spit these spicy takes out? Like, what is happening? Don't encourage these companies to sue people.
Hey, I'm encouraging them to sue people for something valid.
Okay. Well, before you get too spicy with the Anthem take, I'm going to move us along here. Unless you had any actual juicy things left to mention. So, I will point out, because we're going to talk a little bit about Steam here at the end of the year, that Steam released a bunch of their numbers for the end of the year, including some of their hardware survey numbers. Specifically, the rise of AMD, which has heavily shifted from December 2020, where Intel held 81% of the market share, which is insane because that 81% was already a drop at that point because they had been on 14 nanometer process for forever. Well, that apparently had a whole bunch of steam, as that 81% has gone all the way down to 55.58% as of December 2025, meaning AMD went from 19% all the way up to 44.42%. And obviously a lot of this is heavily driven by AMD's X3D processor series. Which, while AMD has had a lot of good processors, there's been nothing close to the bang for buck value when it comes to specifically gaming. These processors are not the end-all be-all when it comes to regular rendering work, but specifically gaming and their V-cache, which is just fantastic. And obviously the Steam Deck and a lot of handhelds will run off of those AMD processors.
Yeah, they absolutely will.
So, AMD roaring back to life. Potentially, do we see, because you're talking if they gain percentage, Intel loses percentage. Yes, that's how math works. I'm a genius. Could they potentially overtake Intel by the end of this year?
There's definitely a possibility, though I know that there are a lot of people who are really, really hoping that Intel and NVIDIA partnering will trickle down to their processors. Which I think is...
I mean, we had that
honestly,
whole discussion about AMD NVIDIA wanting to implement some GPU stuff on Intel processor.
Yep.
So...
yeah, exactly. But then at that point, is it really an Intel CPU?
It's a Intel CPU with extra NVIDIA stuff sprinkled on top of it. Which, does NVIDIA actually care to focus on that anymore? Like,
great question. I don't know. I mean, they signed the agreement.
Well, we're all still licking NVIDIA's boots because the GeForce RTX 5070 has quickly become one of the most popular classes on the platform, reaching a 2.28% market share. Now, keep in mind, these numbers are a lot lower because there's a lot of SKUs, but that 2.28% is actually quite a lot for a single card, especially a new one. The most dominating card would be the RTX 3060, which remains the most dominant and popular card on the survey hardware results at 4.07%.
I would have loved to see like NVIDIA versus AMD as a whole.
What do you mean? Like all of the AMD cards versus NVIDIA cards?
Yeah. And Intel cards. We have to throw them in there.
Well, I mean, it's right here. So AMD discrete GPUs are 8%.
Fair enough.
So you asked, and I have answered.
You shall receive. That's fair. Look, I'm just saying. I didn't see any issues with 9070 XTs melting, so
you're not wrong.
Catching
but the melting
fire
came mostly from that stupid 12-volt plug, which is dumb.
That's a decision they made.
You're not wrong, and it is there, but I mean, A, make sure your stuff's plugged in, and B, it was dumb to make that switch in the first place. I was so annoyed about that thing. Dude, I still have an adapter in mine right now because, like, why do I need to change out my power supply? It's still perfectly functional. It's a nice power supply. So I'm still using the stupid-ass adapter. So it's, this nice, I'll admit, a nicer, smaller, sleek plug, right, for the power that's being delivered. I'll admit that. But then right in the middle of my case, rather than being on the GPU, is this big block where the regular power pins are plugging into the adapter, and it's just butt ugly.
Yep, that's fair.
I would much rather just plug it directly into the GPU. Anyways. Moving on from my mini rant here. Linux is also increasing in its usage across the board, going up to 3.58%, which is up 1/3% from the previous month, and up an entire percentage from a few years ago, which means increasing your adoption by 50% in 2 years is not bad. If you went from 2% to 3%.
Yeah. Not wrong.
Obviously, most of this switchover comes from the Steam Deck, which is Linux based.
Sure.
So cool though.
But, I mean, I think we've talked about it plenty before, but I think it is a harbinger of the future.
Yeah, especially if Microsoft is gonna. I had this, so I'm just gonna put this out here now rather than making it a whole segment. So Microsoft doesn't like the term AI slop, and they would prefer people not continue to use it. So I do find it funny that Microsoft is losing ground to Linux, as people are kind of upset about that. And I think it is definitely ridiculous that they continue to force the adoption of Copilot and force it into every aspect of Windows. And if it continues to happen down that path, they are going to continue to lose more and more users, especially if Linux becomes more and more competitive, which is kind of what you're seeing here. And the Steam handheld is a proof of concept for sure.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Copilot, I'm so sick of seeing it. I see it in everything. I've started making guilds on like Path of Exiles 2. The guild is literally called Microsoft Copilot. Friends of mine have actually created like characters called MS Copilot Slop. It's ridiculous.
So you're integrating Copilot into your daily life.
I don't want it integrated in my daily life. I'm so sick of it.
Well, if Microsoft has their way, it won't matter. You'll wake up and be interacting with Copilot. You'll be eating, interacting with Copilot, and you'll be dreaming of Copilot.
My lord. Please no.
Well, moving on from that, just to finish up really quick, 16 gig remains the standard at 40% in the Steam survey, with 32 gigs at 36.57%. Honestly, I don't think this is going to move. I mean, we talk about, RAM restrictions and stuff, and this probably won't actually change until that fixes itself in however much time.
Yeah, 2041.
Yep. Interesting enough, 6-core and 8-core counts still the most popular at 28.27 and 27.42%, which I think only has stayed at this point because of NVIDIA's X3D chips, because those are mainly
AMDs.
AMD's chips, because they are at this core count with the Vcache. So
yeah, I think even the 7800X3D is at 8 cores, right?
I think so. Yeah. So if they start adding more, then we might see this change, but I don't expect to see this change much either. Maybe more people switching over from 6-core to 8-core would be about it. But that's all the Steam hardware survey numbers. Let's talk about some revenue numbers in business and econ. Alrighty, as always, we're always in over our head, but we're still going to talk about those numbers anyways. Steam had some big numbers over this last year / December. They actually grossed total gross revenue of $1.6 billion in December 2025 alone, which is a 22.7% increase compared to 2024, which eclipsed the pandemic era record, which was December 2020. They also, in this month, had a new all-time peak of 42 million concurrent users on January 11th, which is an insane number. So, this is one of the reasons that we always talk about why you don't skip PC unless you're Code Violet developers apparently making a terrible game and you just don't want to sell your terrible game. But these numbers actually basically have doubled over the last 5 years. Not doubled each year, but doubled from 5 years ago, which is kind of nuts that March 2020 you're at 19 million peak, and then 5 years later you've doubled those numbers at 42.
Yeah, a little more than doubled.
Yeah.
That's insane, actually. I mean, gaming has become a lot more mainstream in general, right? Same way the anime did. And I think a large part of that is why. I think gaming became more accessible, arguably. And in general, I think it has attracted more people because of its variety of games.
100%. And I think more people have made that flip to PC because of the lower barrier to entry.
Yep.
Even though there is quite the extremes that you can get into.
We're both on it.
From low to high. But I think Steam is what makes it attractive, because you have so many low-end indie games, which we'll talk about, that you can get into on lower-end hardware that's just widely available with no restrictions, right? As opposed to being on the locked-down environments of Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo.
Yeah, a lot of the games in Steam can run on a Dell Inspiron 600 at this point.
Yeah, there's quite a few of them like that. That's
I don't
for
even
sure.
know if the Inspiron line is still around.
I actually saw an image today that I thought was funny, where someone posted a screenshot of Black Ops 2 and posted an image of Black Ops 7 and go, why does the older one look better and is only like 6 gigs and runs on my 5-year-old phone?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Actually, yes.
So I did think that was
insane.
Do you know what else is nice? They're averaging 69 million daily active users.
I lost track of where we were, and I was gonna just throw out 69.
I was hoping I caught you off guard. Roughly 147 million monthly active users. Awesome numbers. Annual revenue 2023 was 8.7 billion. Projected total for 2025 is up to 17.7 billion, which is quite the leap. You're seeing a lot of those numbers being buoyed by some very popular games these years, from big titles to smaller titles.
Oh, yeah.
Arc Raiders has reached 12.4 million copies they recently announced, with approximately 55% of its player base on Steam, and in celebration, they are offering everybody a gold hammer.
All right.
I mean, I feel like if we play, we're going to have to, at some point, shout hammer time.
Oh, man.
Counter-Strike 2 remained the top grossing title by revenue. Big shock there with the amount of cosmetic items in the market, which I have mentioned before. Lots of indie success this year. Peak sitting at 779,000 copies sold, which for a game like that is kind of nuts. And I believe I haven't told you yet that I actually bought it. So
what?
I do own it. So Repo or Peak, we can, whenever we're on, we can play one of those two. Battlefield 6 also sold a bunch of copies as well, although they have kind of dropped down to 50 to 100K on the daily active users, which is a huge drop. Slay the Spire also hit 590,000 copies sold at its low price of $2.
I actually gifted Slay the Spire to like 4 people when it was at that low price of $2.
Did you?
Yeah, I was like, "You play this game."
I'm pretty sure I actually bought it too. But I think
fair.
this was one of the ones that I bought.
Yeah, I did it for Christmas.
Yep, Slay the Spire. It's in my library. Oh,
That
I
was
see.
my-
You gift other people games, but
I do so much for you already.
what? Whoa! My goodness. Okay,
Got
I see
him.
how it is. I don't think you got me. I don't know what you're talking about here. We're talking like a $2 game, and you're what is this here? Man, let's see where I stand. Just a work buddy, I guess. Anyways,
Okay, bud.
Detroit Become Human, which is an older game, actually went down to a $4 price point and sold close to 1 million copies. Also a game I bought. I was looking for something that was story-based, and, this game, while it was interesting and did well, wasn't like the end-all, be-all kind of world-shaking hit. But at $4, I will go through and enjoy that RPG story. Or, well,
It was
visual
very good.
story, I guess.
It was very good, honestly. Especially if you like those more interactive story games. Quite good. And there's some quick time events here and there.
I mean, that's I won't get into it, but I did start Dispatch. So when I finish that, we could talk about that.
Oh, man. I need to buy that.
It was on sale by 20%. I don't know if it's still on sale. Outside of that, some indie games in total contributed about 25% of the total revenue. which is quite a large number if you can kind of hit those numbers. Schedule 1 brought in 151 million. Repo, which we've talked about, brought in 147 million. Peak, with its $8 being $5 and $13 being $15 and $12 being $10, brought in $87 million. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out the developer comments on how they priced the game Peak, and you get a good laugh about that.
They also have a YouTube short out saying the same thing.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's a good one. Hollow Knight Silksong, $75 million. So lots of good things to enjoy there. Apparently, Swedish domination, as Swedish accounts for developers generated 16% of the platform's total revenue.
Wow.
Yeah, so in Stockholm alone, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. 60% of the platform's total revenue. So
that's wild.
Yeah, definitely kind of nuts and kind of an anomaly for everyone just being there. But lots of good game development, and I'm pretty sure they have some government incentives as well.
Probably.
So, the PC hardware market grew by 35% to 44.5 billion, which was pushed by forced upgrades potentially, but either way, still kind of grew. Not to mention the success of the Steam Deck, which obviously launched a whole PC console handheld hybrid kind of renaissance, let's say, with various versions of Ally. I think LG had a couple handhelds that they released as well. So definitely popular, and that will most likely continue. 18,600 games were added to Steam in 2024, with similar growth in 2025.
But how many were taken down?
Quite a lot. Well, the total, I mean, I'm sure a lot, but the total amount of content available for purchase on Steam is now at 239,000 pieces of content.
Fair enough.
So, Heru, how many of these are in your library? How much do you have to go to finish that out?
Oh man, I don't have that number. I kind of want that number now, but I don't have that number.
Oh, sad day. I know I have like 90 games in my unplayed game category, so I've got enough to keep me occupied for a while. Now,
That's
one
fair.
last comment before we get into civics and sociology. But Steam does command 75% of the global PC distribution platform. And because of that, there might be some people upset. So, let's get into civics and sociology. All right, everybody, circle up. We're going to take a look at some of the aspects of the gaming community and the institutions at work. As I said, 75% of the PC distribution platform market is a huge chunk of that market. But you know what it's not? It's not a monopoly. But you know what people are upset about? Apparently, there's a debate about whether or not Steam is a monopoly, which is utterly ridiculous to me. I mean, I don't know about you, but it's utterly ridiculous to me. So, here's where this is coming from. Okay. So there was a report/study that was done where 72% of developers believe Steam effectively exists as a monopoly, with 53% expressing concern over the high level of reliance on the platform. The study was conducted by Atomic Research, and that's Atomic with a K. 300 industry executives, which we'll come back to that. 75% of the respondents were senior managers or C-suite executives. 77% came from studios with more than 50 employees. It was done throughout the UK and the US, and the information was collected between May 18th and May 22nd of this year. So
Last year.
Oh yeah, last year's 2025. Oh my goodness. So last year. Are you shocked that executives are butthurt that Steam has a large share of the market?
How dare Valve take 20% of my money?
Oh man, isn't it like 30%?
I don't know. I don't care.
But Point being is, yeah, they're gonna think that Steam has a monopoly because that's the biggest market.
Yeah.
Like, and they're, to your point, they're upset because Steam takes a huge chunk to get access to the clientele that Steam reaches.
Right.
So it doesn't matter whether or not there's a monopoly. They're gonna be all upset about it, which is ridiculous because, look, let me ask you this. Are there not other platforms? Does Xbox not have the ability to play Microsoft games on
Absolutely
PC? Is there not Epic Games? Does they not have to have their own entire storefront? Can you not buy games from Ubisoft and EA directly on their versions of their stores?
GOG?
GOG does exist, although a lot of those codes do come back to Steam, but GOG does exist for sure. But the point being here is there's no, like, you know, drawn lines that say Steam's only selling to these clients, so even though there's another, you know, seller, they have a de facto monopoly because no one's competing with them. They have 75% of the market. You're not even, I mean, you're up there, but you're not close to a monopoly. You're still missing out on 25% of the market here. And all of it is consumer driven. Like there's Steam doesn't say you can't go elsewhere. Steam doesn't say, hey, if you play your game here, you can't play with anybody else, right? Because that would be the kind of anti-consumer things that you would be worried about, anti-competitive things.
So the biggest thing, right, is that
Sure.
I think there is a massive difference, ignoring whether or not monopoly, Steam is a monopoly, ignoring that debate entirely.
Sure.
I think the biggest difference is that Steam has become as popular as it is by actually giving a damn about its consumer.
Yes.
It didn't become as big as it is by purchasing other things. Microsoft.
Epic.
Yeah. like literally, that's what a monopoly is. It's so big and actively taking away competition.
Yes.
Right?
Agreed. The active discouraging of competition.
Yes.
The anti-consumer practices, anti-competitive practices, where if-then things, right? If you do this with another company, then you can't get this with our company.
Yep.
Right? That type of stuff. Steam doesn't do any of that I'm aware of. Steam's like, yeah, if you want to put your game here, cool. If you don't, that's fine. Oh, you want to put your game here, but you want it to connect to other platforms? Yeah, sure, whatever. Sounds good to us.
Pretty much, like, hey, you can put the game here, give us $1,000, and we'll take 20% of the revenue. Like that's the extent of it, right? That's all they're gonna do. Maybe 30%. I don't know. I don't care. Like I said,
I'm pretty sure it's 30%. But either way, like, you could choose not to do that. You can go elsewhere with your game. Like,
yeah, you absolutely could. You could publish it yourself.
True.
Do a download off of a website. Good luck getting people to actually see it.
You're not wrong.
That's exactly the problem. That's what you're paying that 20%, 30%, and $1,000 fee for. You're paying that because you want access to 69 million daily active users.
For the small indie games too, I believe it's only $100 fee.
That's possible, yeah.
So, because I think we talked about how, like, most of them don't make back their $100 fee back at one point, which, you know, is what it is. But the point being is, it's not like this is some big mean platform that's, you know, forcing developers into this unfavorable thing. And I mean, dude, how easy is it to get support on Steam to return a game that's broken or nothing like that? Like, the no questions asked policy under 2 hours is absolutely amazing. Yeah. And even then, for games that are extremely broken or quote unquote not as advertised, Steam has been good guy Steam and gone, oh yeah, that's super broken. Here's your refund.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, Steam has become as popular as it is because it gives a shit.
Yep.
If Epic Games did that, if Blizzard didn't deny everybody from being able to put their games on Battle.net, it'd probably be equally as big.
Sure.
But, like, that's the mistake that they made.
I mean, Steam doesn't even pay for exclusive releases.
Nope.
Like, it's like, yeah, put your game wherever you want. We don't care.
In fact, they almost encourage you to not.
Yeah. It's like there's literally zero incentive to put your game only on Steam.
Meanwhile, Epic Games Launcher does have incentives to only put your game on the Epic Games Launcher.
Yep. So, speaking of Epic Games, which is the other half of this, which is why I brought this in here, it grew its registered user base by 173% over 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to me, doesn't sound like a monopoly. Sounds like there's plenty of growth to go around. It reached 295 million PC players by the end of 2024. However, the problem comes from some revenue stagnation, as they have basically trained their people to show up for the free games and then off. I have an Epic Games account. The only time I log into it is to claim free games. I don't buy any games on them at all. Now, on occasion, if there's like a game that's super good sale and I don't care about it being on Steam, right? Like it's not a multiplayer game, not a big budget game, some indie game, whatever, I might. But for the most part, I show up for free games and I leave. And that's shown in the statistics because over that same time period, the revenue for games, even though they increased their player base, only increased by 1.6%. And third-party spending dropped 18% year over year to $255 billion in 2024.
Yep. I mean, look, here's the reality. The Epic Games Launcher is dog shit. It absolutely sucks. There's no clean way for me to be able to browse through games. You don't even have a cart function. They may have added it by now, but last I checked, they didn't.
Yep.
And, like, it doesn't make any sense. Why would I go... They do have a cart function now. Why would I...
It was obnoxious when they didn't have it, though. That was so ridiculous at that time.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you want to be a storefront, but you don't have a cart.
Yep.
Like, huh? But, yeah, like, I go to the browse section, and I'm sitting here, and I'm like, I have to stare at the same screen that I would for my library in Steam. I don't have a list of video games. I don't have anything. It's a bunch of tiles of games that I've never heard of, nor would I want to.
You're not wrong.
Wait, Wall World 2? Insane.
I don't even know the free games that I've redeemed over there. I probably need to go check that. See if there's anything interesting worth playing.
Well, and then here's the second problem, okay?
Uh-huh.
Looking at a game, I just noticed it because I own the original Wall World 2. Okay, $11.99 on Epic Games Launcher. You want to know how much it is in Steam?
How much?
20% off, $9.59. I don't know, man.
Yep.
I mean, get an AI bot to start scraping the Steam store for any games that you have and match their freaking sales.
Yep.
Like that's
especially because I did confirm that Epic takes 12% and Steam takes 30%, and Epic does give discounts for games that also use their engine as well on the platform, if I remember
exactly. So. And I know plenty of games that they have helped out as the publisher for exclusive releases. It's dumb.
Yep. Now, I think the reason that they're calling it a monopoly is Steam generates 97% of all third-party PC game revenue.
Sure.
But, like we said, there's literally... I haven't seen... If anyone else has seen it that I'm not aware of, the anti-consumer, anti-competitive practices from Steam/Valve, please comment. Give us a tip. Hit us with a tip on email. But I haven't seen any, so like I don't care. What I care about is those anti-competition practices, and they're not even bullying other competitors. Like one of the things that you would see with a monopoly or oligopoly is that they price things so low because they're the big boy to push out their competitors. Now, Steam does have sales, but Steam's still charging 30%. So, like, they're like, if you were going to get into this, Steam would drop those numbers by 30% because they would still make an insane amount of money and force their competition out of business by being like, yeah, well, we're going to go cheaper than you because we have the larger user base so we can make more money while taking less. But they don't. They just go, yeah, we're good with the 30%. Business is good. You want to go elsewhere? You want to put your games out on Epic and advertise mainly there to, for the less cut that they take? Go for it. We don't care. So,
yeah, and to be clear, Valve takes a 30% cut of all sales, right? It's not 30% of the retail sale, it's 30% of the sale, right? So if it sells for $2, they took 60 cents.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, man. I mean, exactly as you were saying with like oligopolies and stuff, like that's literally what Amazon did.
Yeah, they priced competition out of business.
Yep, exactly. They actually did that, and I'm amazed that they didn't get sued for it.
Yeah, I mean, well, we could get into that, but I think we all agree that it's bad practices. But they're just not doing it. I think Epic Games is coming off of their high from successful litigation between Google and Apple for basically Fortnite from the various platforms' mobile stores. Yeah. Because that was anti-competitive. Because
that was
especially
insane.
Apple. Yeah. Because Apple specifically wouldn't allow any side loading official, right? Like you could jailbreak it, but that's not official. Any official third-party loading of apps, and even Google is starting to follow suit and not allow it anymore, but you could. That is anti-competitive practices when you have to go through that store.
Yep. I mean, and I'll repeat it. Amazon does the same thing with their Amazon Fires.
Yep.
You cannot download stuff through the Google Play Store, even though the Amazon OS is literally built off of freaking Android.
Yep.
Which is also the reason that you can jailbreak the heck out of it and get the Google Play Store on there and then start downloading things from it. But still.
Yep.
It's dumb. It's all dumb. I'm so sick of these anti-competitive practices. And I'm also really sick of the anti-consumer stuff. I'm very happy that Google and Apple were ordered to allow alternative app stores, and I think they were also required to allow alternative
payment systems.
What is it? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I think they were also required to do that, which is great because the stupidest thing I've ever experienced was having to log onto my computer to buy a freaking audiobook instead of doing it off of my fucking phone just because it's literally 30% more expensive on my phone.
I like to own my music, right?
Fair.
And I have an Amazon account. So I've just been buying the songs that I actually love. Like, not everything, but like songs that I actually love, I will go buy them. And I had to stop doing that like 6 years ago because because Amazon stopped allowing me to buy the songs on the app because Google was taking a cut.
That's funny.
So, like, yeah, it was ridiculous. Like, I don't mind if I have to go in through like the store built into the app. Like, that wouldn't be a problem for me, but it makes sense why they did this, because if Google's taking a 30% cut on a $1.30 song, like, that's ridiculous. So,
yep.
Oh man. But yeah, so they're not a monopoly. People are upset and have their feelings hurt, and they just need to get better.
And are executives people?
They are human adjacent beings.
Okay, accepted.
Okay, for the record, they are human people. It is murder if you go kill an executive. Don't
Jesus.
don't treat them like a non-human thing. I want to be clear here, okay? I don't want to inspire any craziness. It's 2026 and I don't have any idea what this year's going to hold. So, I just want to be clear here.
Get your bingo cards ready.
Yeah, some guy on a podcast told me they were human adjacent, so I figured I could do whatever I want with whatever industry executive this is.
Oh, jeez. That's bad. That's bad.
Oh, man. Anyways. We'll get into some comments. Bobby Kotick, famously the head of Activision Blizzard back in the day before it was sold, as he kind of crashed out a little bit as he started talking about the 60% sales decline that the company was experiencing, specifically with Call of Duty. As we kind of already have gotten into, Black Ops 7 is bad. It is the second bad Call of Duty game in 3 years. Not to mention Call of Duties are coming out on Game Pass. So between bad games coming out on Game Pass, you'll be shocked to find out that basically Call of Duty sales have declined by 60% from where they were in 2024.
Anyways.
Kotick was basically using this justification as a retroactive validation for the $69 billion sale. As he was like, yeah, we could see where things were coming, and we had the foresight, so we figured we'd get out early. I mean, I'm gonna call kind of BS on this, as, like, there were a lot of lawsuits that were happening at the time that caused the stock to kind of just tank, as there were allegations of, I believe at the time, like, misconduct in the workplace. Take that for what you will.
Mm-hmm.
So, specifically, there were lawsuits from Sunji AP Fonden, AP7, which is a Swedish pension fund, for all kinds of different things that I'm not going to get into. Yeah, sexual misconduct scandals, that's what I'm seeing here. So, like, this really just seems like him capitalizing on something that looks good now as opposed to what things were happening at the time.
Oh, 100%. That whole deal was idiotic. I mean, plain and simple, that deal should have never gone through. There is no reason that a company as large as Microsoft deserves to own arguably the three largest names in their respective class, right? Activision for shooters, Blizzard for MMOs, King for mobile games, right? Sure. Top of the class for all three. There's no reason.
At least for sales
Yeah, exactly. There's no reason, honestly, that those three should be combined into one company. We'll start there. But there's also no reason that Microsoft, as a direct competitor, should have been allowed to purchase them.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, they're doing their best to make sure that those companies aren't at the top of sales.
Believe me, I noticed.
Oh, man. I mean, Kotick blamed competition like Battlefield 6, but I don't think it was Battlefield 6 that caused Call of Duty to be ridiculous, not Call of Duty, and in general, just a poor release. So,
I think that there are two major reasons why Call of Duty Black Ops 7 failed.
Okay.
It was absolute slop, had so much ridiculous amounts of AI, right? Just further describing the slop. And then secondly, I think people are pretty sick of yearly releases.
They're definitely sick of yearly releases. I am not unemployed. I don't have a work from home job, right? Like, I don't have the time, and this is my own life. So I'm not throwing shade at anyone that can play a lot of games. Awesome for you. Like, we all wish we could play as many games as we want, but I don't. And a lot of people are in the same situation, and none of those people, which are the majority of people that exist, are going to be able to put the time in to a multiplayer game release year over year. There's just, it's not there to be able to get the most enjoyment out of it. So why do I have to spend full price on a game every year when I can't even put the time into it that I want to put into it? And I would also add to your points here that physical sales in general are declining on top of all of this. So
yeah, and on top of that, like, look, you tried to increase the price of games.
That's true too. Yeah.
You want us to pay you yearly for the new game, which is basically the same as the old game, just with a new number slapped at the end. And
plus a subscription in the form of a Game Pass.
Yeah, exactly. Plus a subscription. And I'm not dogging subscriptions, okay? There are plenty of games out there where a subscription is a valid intro, right?
Sure.
It is a valid financial whatever the hell.
Yeah,
monetization
but that's
strategy.
built into
Thank
the
you.
game's DNA. It's not like
exactly.
Call of Duty where I'm paying a subscription for skins and stuff and then don't get to use them on the next title.
Yeah.
Which is a year later.
Yep. Exactly. So you get to actually enjoy those, cosmetics that you purchased for 365 days. Good luck.
Yep.
Like, meanwhile, you have games like League of Legends, which skins that I purchased back in 2008, I still use to today.
I have skins for guns for Counter-Strike Go that I could still use from 2012. So like, yeah, that's a game I'm willing to go back into and buy a new skin if I like it, knowing it'll be there if in a year if I get the itch to have another couple weeks of Counter-Strike play.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, I mean, we talked about it earlier. It's anti-consumer practices.
Yep.
And then you wonder why we're anti-insert your company name here.
Yeah. And why everyone likes Valve. Good guy Valve. Good guy Riot. Right? Who treat their consumers with at least a modicum of respect.
Yeah.
So, just to throw out at some numbers, it is the worst. November was the worst month for physical game sales since 1995. So, kind of 30-year kind of drop is definitely going to affect it. Game Pass, obviously, we already talked about, and yearly releases and crappy games. So, do better is basically the word to be had here. Alrighty, people, close your books, pack your bags. That's all we have time for this week, and keep in mind that you need to lock up your RAM when you're done gaming. So make sure you turn off your computer, flip off the power supply, take it out, and put it in your safe when you go to bed so that no one shatters your gaming tempered glass window and absconds with your RAM. You got to be careful nowadays, apparently. We hope you enjoy your time off and look forward to your participation in the next week. Peace.
See ya.